all Pandits and Sadhus are my patients. I have a lot of them because they're around agarbatti smoke, around Dhoop, and they end up coming to us.
What was your most shocking clinical experience about?
There was this patient who had come to me with asthma, and she was around 45, 50. And she had said, I have asthma since I was 15 years old. Next day morning when she came to the clinic, most shocking thing for her that I told her was, you don't have asthma.
Oh my god.
So there is a specific test called PFT, pulmonary function test, lung function test, that tells you if you have asthma or not. And I have patients who are taking inhalers for 10 years and 15 years, never done a PFT.
Since we are celebrating World Asthma Day, today we have a very renowned pulmonologist, Dr. Amit Gawande, who's practicing in renowned critical hospitals like Apollo Hospitals, Sujay Hospitals, and many more in Bombay. So today, let's welcome Dr. Amit and talk about asthma and lung health. So, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Amit.
Thank you.
Asthma is becoming a very normal thing right now. Every other person is talking about asthma, pollution, lung health. So, we really want to know कि क्या है asthma.
Well, this is one of the most asked questions to us. What is asthma? What I would first like to explain is that what I tell first everybody, all of my patients, breathlessness is not always asthma, and asthma is not only about breathlessness. Most patients or most people sort of make them as synonyms. तो उनको लगता है सांस फूल रहा है मतलब ये अस्थमा होगा. तो पहली चीज़ तो ये समझ लो कि ऐसा नहीं होता है. ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं है कि अगर सांस फूल ही रहा है मतलब वो अस्थमा ही है. बहुत कारण होते हैं सांस फूलने. So what is asthma first? Asthma is what we call as a chronic inflammatory disease. Two things to understand for the general public. It is a disease. It is not an infection. It is not some allergy you are getting, which will come and go. It is a disease which stays with you most likely for life. So it is an inflammatory disease where the lungs get inflamed and hence the air tubes become smaller in size. And eventually people have a problem with breathing, have mild chest tightness and certain other symptoms. That is exactly what asthma is about. But again, always remember, nobody can diagnose asthma without a test. So if somebody tells you that you are breathing not breathing well, you are having certain particular symptoms, then you have asthma, please don't believe anybody. There are so many of patients who are just stamped as asthma and they take on inhalers, but for no reason. So we have to remember that part. Never assume it.
Okay, so they don't have asthma.
They might not have.
Okay.
Everybody who, as I said, everybody who's breathless might not always be asthmatic. There are many other causes of breathlessness. That's why asthma is something that is very misdiagnosed many a times, because people go to their particular family doctors and they मुझे सांस फूल रहा है तो वो इनहेलर लिख देता है. अभी दूसरे ने देख लिया इनहेलर लिखा हुआ है तो वो भी इनहेलर लिख देता है. फिर वो साइकिल चालू रह जाता है, बट वो कोई कंफर्म नहीं कर रहा है कि अस्थमा है भी कि नहीं. That is an important aspect which most people don't realize. Eventually, you have to first define asthma. How would you define it, right? Problem is, public ने definition बना दिया. सांस फूल रहा है तो ये अस्थमा है, which is not right. We have to, a lung specialist or a physician will define an asthma according to tests, according to symptoms, according to duration, according to the patient's history. There are many ways of defining it. So always get your asthma defined and staged. These are two things which most people don't. I've had patients who come to me who are taking inhalers for 10 years and never done a definition of asthma, ever. So there is a specific test called PFT, pulmonary function test, lung function testing, that tells you if you have asthma or not. Literally tells you if you have asthma or not. And I have patients who are taking inhalers for 10 years and 15 years, never done a PFT. So they don't know if they have it or not. So ideally, for public, that is what they should understand, that asthma is nothing to do with breathlessness only. There's a lot more in it. Define yourself properly with a proper doctor. Then you'll understand what you have exactly.
Okay. And what causes asthma? Like क्या चीजें हैं जिससे मुझे asthma हो सकता है?
So asthma, well, the reason why asthma is such a big thing because it is a multidisciplinary disease. It doesn't go with one track only. There's so many things in asthma, around asthma, that can cause it. So just to give it in a summary part, number one is genetics. You can get asthma genetically
Okay. So
from
if
your
my parents have
parents.
asthma, I can.
You might have it. Not necessarily always. It is not 100% chance, but you might have it. That's number one. Number two, allergies. Different kinds of allergies. If you are allergic as a person, then that might end up becoming asthma as a general rule. Okay. Now in allergies, then it's a wide variety. There will be, then you say whatever triggers you. That's where all the pollution in the world, the smoke in the world, the allergens in the world like dust mites, cold weathers, climate changes, they all contribute to a person getting into an asthmatic zone. But again, you have to have it innately in you to be an asthmatic, or you have to have this very severe allergies over time. If not treated, they might end up becoming asthmatic.
Okay. So normally, like if you ask me, I am allergic to dust.
Hmm.
So mostly if I work around or if I stay in dust, I sneeze a lot.
Right.
So can I get asthma?
Okay, that's a good question. What we have to understand is not every allergen is going to become asthmatic. Okay, but also not every asthmatic is going to be severely allergic to everything. For example, as you said, I'm also allergic to dust by the way. So when I'm around dust, I start to sneeze. Right. Now, again, the question is, can this turn into an asthma? There is something what we call as threshold levels. Right.
Okay.
For everything in our life also, we have thresholds.
Yes.
I can do certain things, but if I, let's say, if you're in a gym, I can run for 2 kilometers, but that is not going to do anything to me. But if I run for 10 kilometers, maybe I'll lose 3 kgs or whatever, right? So that is called your body's threshold level.
Okay.
Similarly, when it comes to allergies, your allergy also has threshold levels.
Okay.
So if you are getting, let's say, if you're getting sneezing or getting cough and colds very, very frequently, that means your allergy threshold levels are a little on the higher side now. So now you've crossed the threshold and gone into a side where it is very difficult for you to manage it, right? So those patients, if they are treated very well, if they're properly treated, made sure that they take preventive medicine so that they don't get these dust allergies, they will never end up becoming asthmatic if they take very good care of themselves. But if they don't, so because we all know there are people, you, me, we are all like that. सर्दी हो गया ठीक है यार 2 दिन में ठीक हो जाएगा एक थोड़ा काढ़ा पी लेते हैं ठीक हो जाएगा अच्छी बात है बट अगर आप एलर्जिक हो तो इट माइट नॉट बी द बेस्ट सीन फॉर यू अगर आप एलर्जिक नहीं हो आपको ऐसी बेसिक वायरल हो गया जो सबको होता है तो ठीक है चलो बट इफ़ यू आर एन एलर्जिक पर्सन तो वो तकलीफ बन जाता है बिकॉज वो काढ़ा से वो एलर्जी शायद कम्प्लीटली जाएगा नहीं और वो वापस आएगा सो अगले महीने वापस आपको होगा या अगले 1 महीने में 2 बार होगा या 2 महीने में 1 बार होगा डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर फ्रीक्वेंसी सब्जेक्टिव टू पीपल वो चलते रहेगा बट आप उसको ट्रीट नहीं कर रहे हो आप उसको समहाउ सप्रेस कर रहे हो है ना और सप्रेस करने से वो गायब नहीं हो रहा है जब आप ट्रीट नहीं कर रहे हो तो ये जो सप्रेशन हो रहा है एवरी टाइम यू गेट एन एलर्जी अटैक नहीं बोल सकते बट एलर्जी का कोई भी सिम्टम स्नीजिंग हो कॉफिंग हो राइट इट इज़ एन इंसल्ट टू द बॉडी. So imagine if I keep on insulting the body, eventually the body will break. That is what we call as allergy-induced asthma. So don't keep on insulting the body. First, treat it properly. Second, prevent the most. And allergies, if you have, try to prevent them, obviously. And if you have them, get them. Treat it first. The faster you treat, the lesser it bothers your lung person. Just to remember two things: frequency and duration. So frequency is how many times do you get these allergies, and number 2 duration is how long this allergy lasts in your body. If it is lasting for a longer period of time, definitely see a pulmonologist and see if this is going to bother you in the future. And frequency also matters because of 2 things. One, how many times you're exposed to dust, for example, or any other allergen. Second, why only you? Now you are allergic to dust, so am I. But if we both go into dust environment every day, you will get it 3 times in a week. I will get it only once in a month. Why is that differentiation? Why
the body tendency?
The immunity.
Immunity.
That is another important factor when it comes to allergens or allergies. If your immunity is on the lower side, allergens will pick you faster. So out of the two of us, they will pick you first. Right. If your immune system is low, because it's easy target. So immune system is another aspect where you have to keep it on the higher side when you are allergic.
So apart from pollution, smoke is also a very big cause of triggers and everything for
Right.
asthma, right?
Right.
So, what are causes of smoke? Like, do you think कि ये जो industries में काम करते हैं, that's a very big reason? Or maybe, like, let's assume I don't smoke, but a colleague of mine smokes a lot, and I'm exposed to passive smoking a lot. Then, is that also a reason?
See, I had this patient, this girl who had come to me, around 28-year-old, who told me that I keep on having breathlessness episodes, mostly during the daytime. But at nights, I'm absolutely fine, no problems, I'm sleeping well, I have no other issues. Occasionally, I get suffocations, and then I have to drink water or, blow into a bag, and I feel better, and I'm fine. And she had gone to multiple doctors with the same problem. Once I sat with her for 15-20 minutes and we spoke about her life in general, her daily routine in general. What I realized is that she was a big, allergic. She was very much allergic to pollution per se. And she was this girl from some small town in Rajasthan who had come to Mumbai to work.
Okay.
Probably a very clean town, pollution-wise. Comes to Mumbai, severely polluted, and the body is not coping up to that pollution, or the humidity that we have, or the amount of allergens we have compared to a much drier climate there. So she could not deal with those, and she's here for 6 months, and the 6 months only was she used to have this suffocating feeling all the time. But she said that when I was at home I was fine. It was
Okay.
only outside. So her allergy was pollution in general, or smog, or what we call as a smoke and fog mixture, or a smoke. Now it could be any kind of smoke. It doesn't matter if it is cigarette, if it is vehicle smoke, or if it is industrial smoke for that matter. We also had a patient who, for example, many of pandits are my patients.
Okay.
All pandits and sadhus are my patients. I have a lot of them. Reason is because they're around agarbatti smoke, around dhoop, around aarti
around the
smoke
ovens, right?
continuously, and they end up coming to us. So I always give 3 pointers to my patients: escape, treat, improve.
Okay.
What they mean is, escape is, prevention is better than cure. Just escape it. If you can escape it, like if you're allergic to cigarette smoke, just don't go to your friends who are smoking. Don't go around them, right? So escape is one. If you're allergic to particular things, let's say dust for example, or if you're allergic to cold things, avoid them as much as you can avoid them. Most easiest way, because if you remember, I told you, do not keep insulting your body with allergies. Then it might not work in the future. So escape first. If you can't escape, okay, then you have to treat, right? If you've entered into that zone, then treat with proper medications on asthma or bronchitis, whichever is your disease. Third is improve. What improve means, we spoke about, improve your immunity.
Okay.
Bump up your immunity that much that this may not bother you as much as compared to it was. So if you are getting allergies, let's say 10 times in a year or 20 times in a year, our plan is to bring it down to 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay.
See, allergies never go away. Unfortunately, abhi tak science is not developed to that level where we can relieve or get the allergies away from you completely. Yes, but we can control them very well. But for control, you need to improve yourselves. Exercise, there's diet, there is mental stability. A lot of factors come into play. So we have to remember all 3 factors. That is only the way of doing it. For example, in that lady, I told her very clearly, mask is your friend. Don't do anything without a mask. Don't get out of the house without a mask. Because she was just, I think, 4 or 6 months in Mumbai. I said, give it time. Your lungs or your airway system will adapt to the environment over time. But it will not happen in a flick. So give it time. Till that time, wear a mask. And she was fine. After a mask, a good N95 mask she was wearing, she was fine after a mask. You have to be a little embarrassed if you have to live better.
Okay. So, do you want to say that if I get asthma, I have to live with asthma?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Today, yes. Tomorrow, hopefully, we find something. But today, that is the case. If you're diagnosed with asthma, you have to live with an asthma. And most patients don't realize one important thing. Like I also get so many patients. This lady, even now, she comes to me, 60-year-old lady from a village but stays in Mumbai with her family. She always comes to me once every 3 to 4 months, and she's asthmatic, but she still believes that अस्थमा नहीं है. She thinks जो अटैक आता है बस वही अस्थमा है, बाकी दुनिया अटैक के बीच वाली मुझे कुछ नहीं. दैट इज़ हर कोर बिलीफ कि अटैक आ गया बस ये अस्थमा है, तभी मैं जाऊँ हॉस्पिटल में जाऊँ, एडमिट हो जाऊँ, या फिर गोलियाँ ले लूँ, रिलीवर ले लूँ, इनहेलर ले लूँ, एंड आई एम फाइन. और उसके बीच में, 2 अटैक के बीच में, हर 4-5 महीने में उसको एक अटैक आता है. 2 अटैक के बीच में शी थिंक्स आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम, सो आई डोंट टेक मेडिकेशंस. People have this weird belief कि asthma is some only episodic disease, कि बस इतना अटैक के टाइम ले लो, बाकी आई एम हैप्पी. That is the problem. People who get too many attacks are the people who are not taking medications. For example, if I tell you blood pressure आज आपको आ गया और आपने गोली लिया, फिर कल बंद कर दोगे?
नहीं, obviously.
लाइक मेरे पास पेशेंट आता है कि सर मेरा तो ब्लड प्रेशर अभी भी 120-80 दिखा रहा है, देखो हर बार आपके पास आता उतना ही रहता है, तो ये ब्लड प्रेशर गोली बंद कर दूँ? सो आई हैव टू एक्सप्लेन टू हिम कि 120 आ रहा है क्योंकि आप ब्लड प्रेशर की गोली ले रहे हो. इट्स नॉट द अदर वे अराउंड. गोली कुछ आपके साथ जादू नहीं कर रहा है. It is making your blood pressure leveled, so because of this, your blood pressure is 120. Similarly, asthmatics have to understand taking medications, taking inhalers is a duty for them. It is not something you have to take only when you have some breathless episode. If you keep on taking, you will not have breathless episodes ever, most likely, or most minimalistic scenarios will happen. But that is what people don't realize. People think it is गोली अभी ले लो, फिर छोड़ देंगे, फिर जब अगला अटैक आएगा तब वापस ले लेंगे.
So is it safe to say that asthma is a lifestyle condition?
Asthma is, you have to live with it, but I can guarantee you, you can live with it beautifully. I have had patients who are doing beautifully well, no problems whatsoever, years before that they have not had an attack whatsoever. And people don't understand that part. Like for example, I used to always smile when I used to see movies. You know, if in our movies, in our Indian movies, if you see, I can't name any specific one, but if you see, they'll always show a kid who has asthma, you know, a small kid, and he's always this miserable kid in the movie कि बेचारा अस्थमा है, इनहेलर लेके घूमना पड़ रहा है उसको, तो अरे उसको संभालो, उसका ध्यान रखो. And I always used to laugh at this कि that is so untrue. Asthma is a simple disease treated with a simple medication. You don't have to be weak in that. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you some, I don't know, bichara person at all. It is just a simple disease. Take the inhaler and move on. Most people think अभी तो मेरा life खत्म हो गया. I'm restricted. I can't do this. मैं ये नहीं कर सकता. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. I have had patients who do a lot. For example, we also know that many celebrities have asthma.
Yes.
I think Priyanka Chopra has asthma. David Beckham has asthma. Right? Imagine if a person can be a very, very great athlete with an asthma. I'm not expecting you to be an athlete, but you can have a very normal life.
So you are saying that if I have asthma, मैं कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. I can play a sport. I can have my career done very flawlessly.
Absolutely.
No restrictions in my career.
Absolutely.
I can do anything. मुझे अगर Mount Everest चढ़ना है, मैं Mount Everest भी चढ़ सकती हूँ.
बिल्कुल चढ़ सकते हो.
Okay, because if we say that Priyanka Chopra has asthma and today she is doing very flawless with her career,
Absolutely.
so we can live with it.
And chalo, these are actors. The more important parts are athletes because their life goes in a very different section, and that's why asthma for them is even more important. So athletes like David Beckham has, singers, Eminem has asthma. So again, very big numbers, big people whose work goes because of their lungs. They are dealing with it. We have this badminton player who was an Arjuna awardee, Parupalli Kashyap or something.
Okay.
She has asthma, and she is a Arjuna award badminton player, and she's still playing. And Vijay Amritraj, the famous tennis player, he had asthma. At that time, they still dealt with it. At that time, medical laws were so severe that they had issues. But today, that's not the case. Today, if you are asthmatic, no medical person is going to say, don't do this, don't do that. No doctor is going to say, because we have advanced so much in asthma that we are now ready for it. You tell me you want to climb an Everest, sure, come, we'll prepare you. to climb an Everest. That's not a problem. But you have to be ready for it. To go through the preparation. It is not so simple कि एक गोली खाओ और चलो. It's not going to be. It's going to be a change. It's going to be something that you want to do, but doable.
Let's assume if I'm playing a sport, or maybe if I am trekking or something, and I feel very breathless. In between, I feel
Right.
very breathless. What is that an asthma attack?
So as you said, अगर suddenly आपको breathless हो जाओ और वो breathlessness even after sitting down, even after, so most likely if it is after exertion of some kind, and if you're sitting down for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes and the breathlessness is not going, then possibly you've gone into an asthma episode. Okay, if you're an asthmatic, obviously. So once you've gone into an asthma episode, most patients come to us कि inhaler तो ठीक है, but कौन सा inhaler लेना है? अभी तो the market में there are so many inhalers that sometimes even we forget the names because there are so many brands now. But what you have to understand is there are two types of inhalers. There is something called as relievers and there is something called as controllers. Relievers are used when you have an attack or any kind of asthma episode. You can use a reliever to relieve yourself from that episode. And controllers are the ones that are used regularly, which we give patients to use on a regular basis, and hence eventually they don't end up using a reliever because they don't end up having an episode, right? So these two differentiations people should have. So in this scenario, the boy will obviously take a reliever, and in most cases it settles down, and after 10 minutes he should be absolutely back to normal.
What are the differences that, as a normal person, one should understand the difference between reliever and a controller?
First of all, let the doctor tell you, because every patient has different relievers that we give. Okay, some relievers are, for example, in asthma, depends on the definition of asthma for that particular person. So as I told you, what kind of asthma he has, number one, and what is the stage of asthma that he has. So for example, just to give you a simple option, there are two types of asthma: allergic asthmas and non-allergic asthmas. The treatment changes variedly between the two, right? So allergic asthmas, or as we call them as eosinophilic asthmas, their steroid-based inhaler is important to take. Okay, because that is a good way of relieving faster and easier.
In allergic asthma.
In allergic asthmas, right? So, for example, if a patient has come to you and asking you कि inhaler है, क्या करूँ, कौन सा लूँ? Best is ask your doctor, because he will be the best person to judge and understand what kind of asthma you have, what kind of stage you are at. So what will be the type of inhaler, what will be the dose of inhaler. Depends completely on individual and his issues. There is no full general definition I can give you on that. In asthma, what I've seen, at least in patients, most patients come to us कि मुझे सर्दी खांसी है यार, सांस फूल जाता है, सर्दी खांसी होती है, सांस फूल जाता है, तो पता नहीं क्या है. So and you give an inhaler and they're like नहीं inhaler नहीं, मुझे दमा नहीं है, मेरा सिर्फ सांस फूल जाता है. So then we do the test, we do a PFT, we do all the testing, and then we tell them आपको दमा है, लेकिन नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ सर्दी है, मुझे सर्दी खांसी हो रही है, और वो खांसी गले में जा रही है या कफ जा रहा है छाती में, तो सांस फूल रहा है. So many patients self-diagnose themselves a lot, and we have to explain to them. I understand what you're saying, but eventually you have to understand कि asthma ऐसे ही बढ़ता है.
Okay.
Another thing I always tell them कि first, before dealing with the disease, accept the disease.
Yes.
Most patients don't accept it.
That's what I was going to come to.
Yeah. So
right now we have, like हमने recently when we have Googled, we have come across that 34 million people in India are suffering from asthma. And still in 2023 economic times में ये एक news था कि 80% of people are still undiagnosed with asthma.
Absolutely.
So are people being accepted towards this disease? Because अभी metro cities में pollution हो गया, ये सब चीजें बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ रही है, and that's why respiratory health is becoming obviously बहुत बड़ा issue हो रहा है. तो what is your experience about people being acceptance towards this disease? क्योंकि डायबिटीज तो अभी लोग एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं, यार मुझे शुगर है तो है, but what about asthma?
See, I think according to the reports, definitely India has become one of the most important nation when it comes to asthma patients all over the world. And also, if you know that the deaths because of asthma that happen all over the world, India contributes 40% of those deaths. So in India, we have around a lakh or 2 lakh deaths continuously happening because of asthma. Like we are doing this podcast, by now there must be something somewhere happening on an asthma attack and possibly death, because it is so frequent today. Again, because of the fact that people, one, don't accept. Second, people think it is an episodic problem, so they don't take inhalers for long. They just take it during episodes, and they end up having such a bad episode that it might cost them their life. That is the reason why we have to explain to them that this is not an episodic disease. It is a full-blown disease. You have to understand that point. So, if 40% India is contributing, imagine how much India is actually suffering because of asthma and COPD together. In COPD, though, India has become the number one country with the highest amount of COPDs in the world. So, we are going to that phase, unfortunately, because of the amount of pollution that we are having. And thankfully, I think now people have started to accept the fact that they have asthma. People are starting to understand the fact that asthma is an important disease today in our country. How much are they going to accept the therapy on it? We are still, the jury is still out on that, because we still get patients who are very have this negative approach towards inhalers. They
Okay.
still don't feel that inhaler is something I want to take for life, because there is some sort of stigma attached. So thankfully, many people are
What is
helping
the
out.
stigma around inhalers?
The stigma is that what I just said, what movies show us. अगर हाथ में inhaler है तो आप weak हो. That is the stigma that people have. If you have an inhaler in your hand, you are a weak person. You can't do a lot of things in life, and that act of misery comes in other people's eyes. कि अरे बेचारा, which is people don't like.
Is it similar to like people taking insulins for diabetes?
Absolutely similar. Many patients take insulin for diabetes. But to be honest, if you're comparing it with diabetes, diabetes has a lot of restrictions compared to asthmatics. If properly taken care of, it is much easier to control an asthma as compared to a diabetic. A diabetic has tendency to become overweight. It's a
Yes.
diabetic tendency to become overweight, right? And he has to go through a lot of threshold levels to come back in a good weight bracket, right?
Right.
In asthmatics, that is not the tendency. But if you do it, anyway, you will do beautifully in life. We don't have a problem in those scenarios. But people don't realize that. People have to realize that asthma is a disease. We have to work on it. You can't just assume कि एक inhaler लेके भी नहीं तुम ठीक होने वाले हो. सब कुछ करोगे तो ही ठीक होगे. Like nutrition is a very important factor in asthma. Most people don't realize that. What you eat, how you eat, the amount of antioxidants you have in your body. Antioxidant is one of the most primary concept when it comes to asthma. Have a lot of antioxidants, and we get it from a lot of your own regular fruits and vegetables, your flax seeds, your sunflower seeds, all types of flower seeds, your papayas. You'll get antioxidants from, or all kinds of berries like blackberries,
Okay.
blueberries. You'll get a lot of antioxidants from them. Very useful in asthmatics.
Is there any kind of food that one should avoid while if he or she is an
Uh,
asthmatic?
One, if you're allergic to a particular food, obviously. Number two, foods which contain, or let's say canned foods, processed foods. The problem is not the processing, the problem is the preservative used. So there are many patients who are allergic or to the processing of, or to the preservatives used. Like for example, you see, when you go to the market, you see a chutney, kadabba, in your supermarket. You open that, you take the dabba and see the expiry date. So it will be expired within 15 days,
Right.
let's say, for example. Then you find another chutney ka dabba, and uss pe likha hoga expired in 6 months. So the difference is what? Same chutney maybe, but two different expiry dates. The difference is because they have used a lot of preservatives or in their dabbas. That's why it is 6 months. This guy is used less. So for an asthmatic, that is what you need to be sure of. You use something with less preservatives. Number one, less food coloring substances. Number two. So if you're going to restaurants, make sure food coloring habits should be as minimal as possible.
Okay.
Then when it comes to other food items, for example, I always have this basic general theory: ठंडा, खट्टा, oily. इससे दूर.
ठंडा खट्टा
ठंडा,
oily.
खट्टा और oily. Because ये सब ट्रिगर कर सकता है आपको एज ए जनरल रूल, नॉट समथिंग टू डू स्पेसिफिक. हर एक स्पेसिफिक होता है. जैसे आपको डस्ट है तो फिर मैं बोलूँगा डस्ट से दूर रहो. किसी को होता है कि यार मैं जब भी फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैड दिस पेशेंट, मैं जब भी अजवाइन खाती हूँ तो मुझे सडनली एक एपिसोड आ जाता है. सो एवरीबडी हैज देयर ओन थिंग. सो दैट एक्सेप्ट फॉर दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, जनरल रूल ठंडा, खट्टा और ऑयली से दूर रहो. क्योंकि ये आपको हल्का इरिटेशन थ्रोट में देगा. वो इरिटेशन कैन टर्न इनटू अ एस्थमेटिक एपिसोड. माइट और माइट नॉट, बट कैन इज पॉसिबल. सो ये 3 चीज़ों से दूर रहो. बाकी सबका अपना है, हर एक का.
So, I had heard somewhere that cake and cold drinks are quite a haunting episode for asthmatic patients. Is it true?
So cold drink, again, thanda.
Right.
That is the only thing. A cold drink per se does not really do anything. It's the coldness of the cold drink. The cold part of the cold drink is the problem. Okay. And when it comes to cakes, yes, cakes sometimes they use certain kind of, if you're taking a cake from shop, for example, those are the ones, because they use certain kind of preservatives that can keep the cake for 2-3 days, 5 days, 10 days, absolutely fine.
Okay.
If you're taking a fresher cake, then minimalistic issues.
Okay,
but
not a freshly baked cake.
A freshly baked cake would be a lesser chance of you getting attacks, but again depends on your allergies. If you have an allergy to certain substances, for example, I had this boy who could not have eggs.
Okay.
He said, I'm allergic to eggs. Whenever I have eggs, my throat gets choked up. But he had a different kind of allergy, atopic allergy, anaphylactic allergies. So he did not understand why egg is a problem. And that's why anything which contains eggs, so cakes. So he didn't, first of all, it took him 1 year to realize if it is eggs. Because he used to have cakes and he thought he was allergic to cakes. But it was not the cake. It was the egg used in the cake. So because the cake is mixed with so many substances, you never know which part is allergic to you.
So, sir, how many patients, like let's assume कि 10 में से कितने patients आपके पास जो आते हैं accept asthma as a lifestyle condition?
I sort of try to convince them to accept. So thankfully, most of my patients have accepted the fact that they have asthma. But yes, initially when they come to us, they are not very acceptant to the fact that it might be asthma. But it all depends. If a patient has had asthma in the family and he's seen his parents or his grandparents, somebody with asthma, then they are much easily accept asthma, because they know what it is and they know what it entails. But patients who have never had such, for example, allergic asthmatics, they will always be like, नहीं sir, asthma तो नहीं होगा, अब देखो खांसी निकाल दो बस. So most of them come to us with that कि बस इतना खांसी है, वो कर लो, खत्म, but हो जाएगा. Eventually they come up to the fact कि okay, asthma हो सकता है. Because when they start using relievers, we have to convince them a lot to use inhalers.
Okay.
Once they are convinced to use inhalers, they see the difference within a month. Ki now I am feeling much better, and then eventually they accept. Ki okay, they are helping me, so might as well.
So if I'm asthmatic, तो मुझे रोज inhaler लेना है?
Again, depend करता है आपको किस प्रकार का अस्थमा है. अभी अस्थमा में बहुत सारे टाइप्स होता है, as I said, उसके अंदर ये भी होता है, there is something called as intermittent asthma. जो पेशेंट्स आपके पास आएंगे कि मुझे साल में एक बार या 2-3 बार एक एपिसोड होता है, but the rest of the time I'm completely fine.
Okay.
So again, the definition of asthma matters कि क्या है, आपको कौन सा प्रकार का है. There are some asthma जिसको हम लोग बहुत 3-4 महीने के लिए देके उसके बाद हम लोग बंद कर देते हैं या कम कर देते हैं, एंड देखते हैं कैसा कर रहा है पेशेंट. उसका PFT रिपोर्ट क्या है, उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. और कुछ पेशेंट्स को जिंदगी भर हम लेना ही पड़ता है. You can't help.
Inhaler रोज
लेना ही पड़ेगा, unfortunately.
Have you encountered any, मतलब ऐसा आपने पेशेंट को कभी ट्रीट किया हो कि रोज इनहेलर लेना पड़ता था पहले, but after a proper treatment they also worked on themselves, फिर at least रोज से it has become 2 times a week or 3 times a week?
Yes, absolutely. Many patients end up becoming, because as I said, it is not just about treatment, it is about other 2 things: escape and improve.
Okay.
If you do them beautifully well, you don't need a lot of treatment. Your treatment might come down a lot. I have had patients who have gone treatment free for years at times, and they end up becoming absolutely normal. Their PFTs have improved. Why? Because they've escaped their problem. They've treated them well for a long period of time. Like they were treated, they took treatment for me for a year, 2 years, and they've improved their lifestyle, gotten away from bad foods, junk foods, improved their life, exercise well, mental health, for example. Once you do all of this, you can definitely go back to probably a reliever free life.
Do you think कि inhaler एक addiction बन सकता है?
Okay, that is a very interesting myth most people have, or question that most people have for me, that इसकी मुझे आदत लग जाएगी.
हाँ.
So, just when I tell you कि एस्थमा में 3 चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. एक होता है तुम्हारा फिजिकल बीइंग, हाउ यू आर, ओके. एक होता है तुम्हारा लाइफस्टाइल और एनवायरमेंटल बीइंग, और एक होता है तुम्हारा साइकोलॉजिकल बीइंग, राइट. सो जब भी किसी को अटैक आता है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपने देखा होगा, तो मैं हर बार बोलता हूँ कि एवरी एस्थमा अटैक इज अ 60-40 स्प्लिट. व्हाट दैट मीन्स इज कि इन सम पेशेंट्स 60% एस्थमा है, 40% पैनिक है.
Okay.
In some patients, it is the other way around. 40% asthma hai, 60% panic hai. So they panic when they get an attack. And what do you do when we panic? We breathe faster.
You breathe faster. Right?
Imagine a person who is already asthmatic. He is already breathing bad and he has a panic attack. He'll breathe even more faster.
Right.
So psychological well-being is very important when it comes to asthma. I explain to my patients that you have to understand that you have an attack. Please understand, if you have your reliever with you, okay, nothing will happen to you. Take your relievers, relax your mind, sit. I understand it is difficult. I know it is easy to say. I get that. But try to do that. And they have to relax themselves. Take the inhalers once, twice, maybe thrice. It will definitely calm them down. Right? When they don't relax, okay, which happens, I understand that. Not every person is going to be similar.
Obviously.
If they don't relax, what ends up happening is they have this psychological threat in their heads, a subconscious threat कि मुझे अब अटैक आएगा, या अगर मैं कहीं बार में चली गई या चला गया या कोई रेस्टोरेंट में चला गया, पता नहीं कब अटैक आ जाएगा. So they have this mental trauma to their heads. They make themselves go through this trauma कि कब अटैक आ जाएगा, right? These patients end up using a lot of inhalers not because they need it, because they're anticipating something.
Because of the
and
fear
वो डर के
somewhere,
वजह से
right.
they keep on taking inhalers, and these patients end up becoming habituated to inhalers. So it is not the inhaler per se making them addict to it. It is their psychology towards an inhaler that is making them addict to the inhaler. It is the other way around, and this what we have to make. I always make my patient understand that take it only if you need it. नहीं तो you don't take it. The reliever of the inhaler. But most patients end up doing that. Like I had a patient who had come to me in the middle of the night, came to the hospital. I called me. I went at around 1:30. Sir, I'm dying. Around 50-year-old man, and asthmatic, my patient. And I went there. I saw his saturation had dropped, and he was into a asthmatic attack. He took the inhaler that I had given, the reliever. He took 2 cans. Sitting for 2 hours at home, he took 2 cans. He kept on pressing. He kept on using it.
Okay.
And it did not do anything to him. And he ended up in a hospital. So patients get so panicky when an attack comes, which I understand. But I understand when a person comes to me कि मुझे पहली बार अटैक आया, तो मैं भी समझ लेता हूँ, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलता हूँ, ठीक है, क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ. I listen to their explanation, कितनी देर तक चला, everything. But after the second, third or fourth, if they come to me कि मुझे 2 महीने में एक बार अटैक आता है, तो I have to, then I tell them, now you can't panic. You're used to this. Calm yourself down as much as you can. Your mental well-being is very important at this juncture, which most people eventually are so panicky. He finished 2 canisters and we came here, we gave him a nebulizer and he was completely fine.
Okay.
Why was he completely fine with a nebulizer and not with his inhalers? That is again another interesting story, which most people think कि nebulizer ले लो ना तो अच्छा हो जाऊंगा, पर ये पंप से मेरा नहीं हो रहा है. द रीज़न इज़ क्योंकि आप पैनिक कर जा रहे हो ना. हम जब पंप लेते हैं, कोई भी पेशेंट इन्हेलर लेता है, तो जब वो इन्हेलर खींचता है अंदर, जनरली ओनली अराउंड 30% of it actually enters the end of the lung.
Okay.
Because the root is too high, na? The amount of pipeline is a lot, so it takes time. But when it comes to patients who are asthma attack, imagine, एक तो लेना एक मुश्किल चीज़ है, वो सीखना पड़ता है कैसे लेते हैं इन्हेलर. और अगर तुम ले रहे हो और उसके अंदर तुम्हें अटैक आ गया, अटैक में तो तुम और पैनिक हो रहे हो, तो तुम सही ले नहीं रहे हो, और उसकी वजह से जो 30 जाना है वो भी नहीं जाता है, 10 ही जाता है. All of 10 is not enough for to relieve his attack, so he keeps on taking. But when it comes to nebulizers, nebulizer automatically जाता है.
Right.
पेशेंट को सिर्फ ब्रीथ करना होता है बस, इसलिए नेबुलाइजर से ठीक हो जाता है. नेबुलाइजर में हम कुछ अलग नहीं दे रहे. It is the same drug that he had in his inhaler, but just because he didn't take it right or because of his panic, we have to give him a nebulizer.
So psychology is a very big factor over here,
Absolutely.
right? कि अगर मेरे दिमाग में वो डर बैठा है कि अरे मुझे अभी अस्थमा अटैक आएगा, अभी आएगा, तो maybe that's triggering it more.
Right.
I'm making it worse.
I have told most of my patients who are asthmatic to start exercise, number one, but with exercise also I have told them to start yoga.
Okay.
Yoga really helps one in asthma per se also, but also in learning how to be calm in a stressful situation. And asthmatics really need to learn that very well, because that is the situation they go through. But again, in yoga, I always tell them, always do all the long breathing exercises. Avoid the short breathing exercises. Like for example, you can do Anulom Vilom, which are great in patients of yoga and allergy for that matter. But preferably avoid things like Kapalbharati.
Okay.
Short breathing ones. They might cause a bit of spasm in your body. May or may not, but rather avoid it. The general rule I would say avoid, but do all the long breathing ones. Help you calm down, help you have a good airway system, a good flow of air from your nose to the end of lung.
Is it sane to make this kind of statement कि अगर आपने inhaler use करना बंद कर दिया तो you can survive or maybe
Absolutely.
okay.
As I said, we are hoping to be a reliever-free India at some given point, because relievers are used only to relieve your current problem. Everything else, like what we talk about, as I said, improve and escape and treat. If you improve your lifestyle a little bit, if you work on yourself a little bit, your relievers, your inhalers will eventually come down. I have many patients who have not taken inhalers for a year, 2 years now. Very rarely they need an inhaler. They always have it in their pocket. Even now, I always tell them, how much ever you're free, it's fine, but keep it in your pocket, because you never know what strikes you in, right? But they don't need it anymore, because they've changed their life for that. But again, you have to do that. You can't just expect कि मैं गोली खा लूँगा तो मेरा सब कुछ सही हो जाएगा. But that is true for every disease, right? Diabetes is also something that you come back to lesser tablets if you change your lifestyle well. Blood pressure, same idea. Heart attacks or heart failure, same idea. If you improve your lifestyle, you obviously get better. They will get better. I can guarantee there are many patients who can go without an inhaler, but they have to have the will to do those things that need to be done to be reliever free.
So now when we have spoken about there are physical symptoms, there are mental symptoms. Do you think sleep is also a reason for asthma triggers?
Not in a direct relation, but yes, sleep indirectly can cause you to trigger your asthma. For example, as we always say to people, 8 घंटा सो, 6 से 8 घंटा सो, for example. If that is the case, then generally you're better. But if that's not the case, then your body's stress level rises.
Okay.
So when we say psychological health is important, if your body is stressed because of any other reason, be it psychological, be it physical also, it might trigger an asthma, for example. So that is why sleep is very important when it comes to asthma. A good sleep and a good REM sleep, what we call as a REM sleep, is important in an asthmatic patient.
Insomnia is insomnia a symptom of asthma?
No, but insomnia can worsen an asthma.
Okay.
So in itself, it's not one of the symptoms of asthma, but it can worsen your already existing asthma because of stress levels. Today in our world, stress has become a very part and parcel of life, which is understandable. But if you have to go ahead and think about an asthmatic patient, he going in through a particular kind of stress, it can actually activate an asthma attack. I had this patient who went into a sudden asthma attack. A 30-year-old man went into sudden asthma attack and was brought to the hospital on a stretcher. He was admitted for at least a week, and his asthma had gone very worse. And then everybody asked him the history, क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ. So the reason he got asthma attack is because he banged his car onto another car on the road, and then there was a big fight. The guy who he banged into wasn't a big accident; it was a small dent. Guy who banged into, they started conflicting with him basically. So sorry, they started confronting him, right? And confronting him, they became very violent, and he could not take that much of stress in his life, and that triggered his asthma on the road, and he was brought in a stretcher. So stress is a very important factor when it comes to triggering asthma. That may not be true for every patient, but yes, it is definitely a factor that you should always consider if that is the case in your disease.
What is the most vulnerable age to get an asthma? Is there?
There is no vulnerable age per se. See, luckily or unluckily, people get asthma at any given age of their life. Okay, so there are two types. Again, there is something what we call as acute young onset asthma and something called as adult onset asthma.
Okay.
So young onset asthma, again, as the name subscribes, it is about in the younger generation, in the younger age group, right? Now, I have always told patients. I had this one parents would come to me with their child. She was around 6 years old, 6 years old girl. Nice girl, slim girl, but severe attacks. First, they were not ready. They were thinking it is not asthma because she had nasal polyps, some polyps in her nose. They thought that is what is causing her to be asthmatic. And I kept on explaining it is not the case. She actually has asthma and she might need relievers a lot. But after a lot of convincing, I told them a very simple thing that you should be thankful that your kid has asthma at the age of 5 or 6. Because what we have learned with over studies and research is that your lung actually keeps on developing till almost the age of 17 to 20.
Okay.
Okay. So if your lung is still developing, if you get an asthma at the age of 5 or 6, the lung automatically starts to improve itself. And there are patients I've had who had asthma at the age of 10, severely bad, allergies, asthmas. But once they've reached the age of 20, 21, 22, it has gone down automatically a lot. May not completely go away, but will become very minimal. Because the lung is adapting itself to the problem and evolving itself to the problem. So I always say, be happy that it is happening at the age of 5. If you end up having an asthma at the age of 25, the lung is already developed now. Now there is nothing that can happen. You have to end up taking medications, right? And improve your lifestyle, blah blah blah. So young age is preferably better because hopefully the lung will evolve itself. But again, if you're talking about age, it does not matter what age you are. Asthma is asthma. But yes, younger patients easier to manage asthma. Adult onset has their own difficulties
How
separately.
should a young child manage his asthma? उसको भी asthma pump use करना
No,
पड़ेगा?
see, asthma depends again what kind. So if you're looking at most young patients generally have allergy-induced asthmas. Non-allergic asthma or genetic induced asthmas usually don't happen at a very young age. They happen at a little elder age after 10, for example. But so it's easier to the child can understand what you're saying at least, right? Now, when it comes to very young age, generally if it is allergy induced, we give a lot of anti-allergies to the kid. and as a result of anti-allergies, lesser allergens enter the body, and hence lesser attacks or asthma that the patient ends up having. But eventually, if a patient does, obviously a 5-year-old will be difficult for him to take an inhaler,
Right.
so he ends up having a nebulizer.
Okay.
It's cumbersome, I know, but something that is needed. But I always try to keep minimalistic inhalers or nebulizers for a patient, for a kid, because right now he's 5. I don't want to subject him to it. Maybe tomorrow he might need it for a very long time, but today we will try our best to keep it as minimal as possible. To take measures with medications, syrups, anti-allergens, medications. Hopefully that will help the patient, because in this patient again we can't do a PFT
Right.
because he won't be able to do it.
Right.
But then there are other methods now. There are many other methods. There is something called as a pheno. There is something called as FOT. These are other types of devices which we can use on kids. But as I said, we take our time and make sure the kid is fine until we keep him that way, and until he grows up. Hopefully, he grows out of his allergy or his asthma, if not completely, most of it.
But as an adult, like I can change my lifestyle to maintain my asthma. पर बच्चे को कैसे बोले कि धूल में मत जा, या फिर पेट
नहीं
डैड
बोल
से
सकते।
अगर उसको एलर्जी होगा तो फिर वो कुत्ते से मत खेल. How to manage kids in that?
This lady had come to me with the same question, and she was very, let's say, furious about it. Ki my kid loves to play outside with his. They have a dog, and my kid loves to play in the sort of garden with the dog. And I really can't, because if I stop him, he starts crying. So what we did to this kid was, we told her, let him play, but give him a balance, as in ask him, खेलने दूंगी पर मास्क पहन लेना, अगर वो रेडी है तो ठीक है, और उसके बाद खेलने दूंगी पर जाने से पहले 2 चम्मच सिरप पी लेना. It is an anti-allergic syrup, so that we can refrain as much allergen can enter his body as much as we can. I understand the difficult बच्चे हैं. I was actually, my first question to her is, you're lucky तुम्हारा बच्चा बाहर जा रहा है. आजकल तो बच्चे घर में वीडियो गेम में बैठे रहते हैं. But yeah, we try that. A lot of things.
What was your most shocking clinical experience about in all this years of experience? सबसे बड़ा shocking clinical experience.
Shocking may not be the word for it, but I've had a lot of interesting clinical experiences where a patient would come to you. I had a patient who had come to me with severe gasping and had turned blue completely.
Okay.
That happens not very commonly, not very common to see. But because of a patient being out of breath, there is severe hypoxia in the body. Hypoxia is lack of oxygen in the body, and that makes your fingertips and your lips bluish in color, because there is no blood going in or no oxygen in the blood. And I had this patient who had come to us. We had to intubate her eventually. Again, the reason was asthma attack, obviously, plus severe amount of panic that made her collapse, and that could make, and she couldn't breathe. That's why she collapsed, and she came to us. And most of the relatives, everybody thought she's gone, because if you see your own loved one with blue fingers, blue lips, and bluish face, you think this is it. So they were all ready. Okay, we are gone. They were crying and everything, and we had to. It took us, I think, an hour to actually get her out of it, get her back to life. Almost an hour, and we tried our best to get her back to life. Luckily, she came back and she's doing well now. But she was around 50 years at that time. But yeah, that was a scary scenario where we thought an asthmatic coming to us with completely blue body or a blue face and blue fingers. But interesting things are that, for example, there was this patient who had come to me with asthma, and she was around around 45, 50, and she had said, I have asthma since I was 15 years old, and she's taking inhalers since a long time. And when she had come to me, she had a big bundle of file, a huge bundle of file of doctors all over. She's gone to every doctor she can go to. And then she told me, I don't understand. My inhalers are not working. I always am breathless. I don't know why what is happening. I've tried every doctor, but my asthma is not improving. So I told her, you keep your file and you meet me tomorrow. I went home and literally studied every paper on the file and every test that she had done over time. Next day morning, I went when she came to the clinic. The most shocking thing for her that I told her was, you don't have asthma.
Oh my god.
Many patients, as I told you, are misdiagnosed. So what happens is, I diagnose some doctor diagnoses them कि अरे दम आ रहा है, दम लग रहा है, चलो इनहेलर लो, और वो इनहेलर शुरू कर देते हैं. फिर वो ठीक हो जाता है. फिर कुछ महीने बाद वापस कुछ तकलीफ हो गया तो वापस वो कोई डॉक्टर के पास जाता है, मे बी सेम, मे बी समबडी एल्स, एंड ही सीज द ओल्ड पेपर. अरे इसको इनहेलर दिया था, ये ठीक हो गई थी, तो ये लो इनहेलर. And that is what happened to her for 15-20 years. Doctors kept on giving her inhalers because everybody, as I said, once you're stamped as an asthmatic, you're stamped. And unfortunately or fortunately, many a times doctors see 100 patients a day. Sometimes you go to smaller clinics, they don't have the time to sit and read a file of this fat file. They will just look at the last paper. Inhaler se theek ho gayi thi. Okay. Inhaler.
But then, if
Go.
the file is such big and if that inhaler is still not treating her, why did every other doctor again prescribe the inhaler to her?
Because it's treating her in that short duration.
Okay.
So it's getting better. Couple of
फिर
days
वापस हो
लेके
रहा
फिर
था ना?
वापस हो रहा है. That's my point. The idea of trying to give time and understanding what asthma is what, that's why there are specialists involved right now. That we can make sure that we know she has asthma. क्या होता है अगर आपको 5 साल से किसी ने बोल के रखा है कि आपको डायबिटीज़ है, आपको एस्थमा है या ब्लड प्रेशर है, आप अज्यूम कर लेते हो.
Right.
एंड आप ही नहीं, अनफॉर्चुनेटली डॉक्टर्स भी अज्यूम कर लेते हैं कि 5 साल से गोली ले रही है मतलब हो गई. मैं डबल चेक कौन करेगा? Happens ना sometimes. You don't double check. Sometimes you don't because you don't have the time for it maybe. और many times 5 साल से ले रही है, 10 साल से ले रही है तो होगा एस्थमा, क्यों नहीं होगा? So fortunately, I told her I'll double check everything, and I did. I went home and saw the file, and I realized that she never had asthma per se. So inhalers was not something that she required. Okay, so but taking inhalers and not taking it improperly can also cause certain side effects. Okay, so and that is what was sort of causing her issues. Her throat was swollen all the time because of the amount of inhalers she was taking. And she was never told that after taking inhalers you have to gargle every time. She was never told that she had to gargle. What she eventually we found that she had a very chronic fungal infection in her lung and in her tracheal area.
Okay.
And that fungal infection can stay in your body for years and give you these mild coughs, mild throat irritations occasionally. And eventually we treated her fungal, which is a 2 to 3 month treatment or more, and she was completely symptom free, reliever free, symptom free, no problems. She had no asthma ever, but she was diagnosed with it for 15 years. With every doctor, whoever was going, was diagnosing asthma, and giving her inhalers, different type of inhalers. So that also happens, unfortunately.
So a patient has to be well educated
Yeah.
before even a doctor can be wrong with your.
Absolutely. That's why one of the reasons. That's why we have specialists now. So it's better to deal with the specialist. So what happens is we have this culture, which I personally think is a very odd culture. We have this culture where whatever happens to us, we first go to a family doctor, right?
Yeah.
Then the family doctor gives you some certain medications.
Right.
Then you come to then if that doesn't work for 15-20 days, then you end up coming to a specialist of some kind, right? Sometimes not even a specialist, you go to a physician first.
Right.
Then the physician tells you, Acha, no, you have a lung problem, you go to a lung specialist, right? So you end up coming to a lung specialist maybe after 20 days or more.
Right.
So if you do have a problem, as I explained to you, remember, okay, if you have an insult, that insult enters your body, it keeps on entering deeper and deeper. Every day passes by, it enters deeper and deeper. Like many times when patients have pneumonia, they get admitted under somebody, and a lung specialist is not involved at that point, but the pneumonia worsens,
Right.
the patient worsens, and after day 10 of admission, then a lung specialist is given a call कि अरे ऐसा problem हो रहा है, क्या करना है? So then when the lung specialist enters, he is already thinking, oh, we have gone too far with the infection or with the disease. We could have done a lot when if we had been there earlier. So it is a patient education is important. You should know that if you have a lung problem, lung problem starts from the nose and till the end of the lung. So this whole airway system. If you have any of these problems, go to a specialist. Now we have enough Google searches. You find out who treats lungs, find out who treats heart, find out who treats kidney, and go to them directly. They will definitely help you faster, so that you don't end up to a certain stage where then you have gone to a stage where there are minimal choices remaining for us to do. To come early, we have a lot of choices available. Like I had this boy who had come to me, and thankfully at the age of 15, directly first thing he came was to me. He had a lot of allergies. We did his PFT, we did everything for him. He turned out to be an asthmatic.
Okay.
Today he's I think around 18 or 19. He's completely symptom free. For last 1 year, he's symptom free because he took his medication properly, started gymming, he started eating well, and he's doing completely fine. But now this boy, if he had gone to a lot of doctors, kept on going, had come to me at the age of 21. As I told you, lung is already evolved now. Now I can't do much. Now I have to just keep him, coax him into chalo lete rahe. That matters a lot. Time,
So patient education is important.
very important.
What are the worst time when asthma triggers?
What are the worst?
Time when asthma triggers. Like बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि ना रात में we feel worst. मतलब in the night time हमें ज़्यादा breathless feel हो रहा है या फिर सांस बहुत ज़्यादा फूल रही है. मैं जब सो रहा हूँ ना तब मेरी सांस बहुत ज़्यादा फूल रही है. Is it for real?
Partially yes. So number one about asthma is the more weight you have, the more you're obese, the more asthma will worsen. Okay, it's a simple logic on that regard.
So even in
So-
asthma, it's the same logic. You have to reduce your
Reduce
weight to a
your-
proper.
Yes. Why? Because it is just a physical problem. What I mean is, if you're standing, you first have well control of your posture or body, okay, or your muscles. Better control. And number two, you can control consciously your breathing pattern. If I tell you to breathe very fast right now, you can. If I tell you to breathe, take a very deep breath, you can. Right?
Fair enough. Right.
But if you're sleeping, can I tell you to take a very deep breath? No. You're sleeping, right?
Right.
And when you're sleeping, gravity plays a role. So right now, my lung is in the correct position when I'm standing or sitting, okay? And I'm consciously able to keep my muscles in balance. When you're sleeping, number one, your muscles are in autopilot mode, right? You're sleeping. And the gravity plays a role because your lung is now down in your flat position, and the lung is sort of getting a little bit of pressure on it.
Okay.
So when there is pressure, it is difficult, and secondly, a little difficult to breathe if you have some disease. Normally, it is not. Number one. Number two, if the pressure can depend on your weight now. If you are putting a lot of weight on it by your own body when you're lying down, you will get more pressure.
Okay.
So obese people generally give you this symptom of I can't breathe in the night because it is just heavy to breathe, and your body is in autopilot mode. It doesn't have this ability to breathe deeper and breathe faster, which you can do in the conscious sense. That's why they start having issues कि मैं जब सोता हूँ तो मुझे थोड़ा heaviness होता है. So then you always tell them कि put 2 pillows under your back, sleep a little inclined, and that will help you at least till you lose some weight. Secondly, there is this girl I had who, again, a young girl, 25-year-old girl, who told me that I am not able to sleep all the time. I keep getting up because I keep coughing. I keep getting up because I keep having cold. 24/7, 365 days I have cold, and I keep coughing. So again, she had gone to a lot of doctors. She even was prescribed inhalers at some point. When she came to us, we did a PFT, we did everything for her, and eventually, after 15 days of treating her, when I spoke to her again, only one sentence told me her diagnosis at the end. I asked her कि कब से यहाँ पे रहते हो? And she said 7-8 साल से. And I asked her पहले तकलीफ कब से शुरू हुआ? He said 7-8 साल से. And I realized the problem is not treatment, the problem is the house. So she had so many allergens in the house. There is something called as dust mites, which are present in your bed,
Okay.
your beddings, your pillow covers, your clothes, if there is around, something called as dust mite. They were present around. There is, for example, I always have these 4 things that I tell all my allergy patients. One, change your beddings very regularly
Okay.
and clean them, deep clean them properly.
Hmm.
And even your mattress, you have to deep clean occasionally, as in when you can. No carpets and rugs in your house. Should not be.
Okay.
No, your curtains should be thin. They should not be thick curtains. Okay.
Okay.
If there is any wet wall in the house,
Hmm.
either you remove the wet wall, repaint it, or clear it out. Okay. In your cupboard, if there are any clothes that are there for more than a month without washing, like your sweaters or something, remove, deep wash them, and then put it back. Because all of these items contain some things called spores.
Okay.
These spores are not visible to the naked eye.
Okay.
You can't see it, I can't see them. They may be present here also, but you can't see them. But they may not affect me and you, but an allergic person, it will affect. So she kept on sleeping every night. Her bed was full with dust mites, the mattress.
The man.
And she kept on inhaling dust mites, she kept on coughing all the time. And then that continued during the day also. Because she kept telling me, दिन में भी मैं खांसते रहती हूँ, रात में तो और खांसती हूँ. So nobody understood why she always coughing. Because the dust mites are affecting her and that effect was continuing for the day also when she goes to work. We just told her to change her mattress, do all of this, and she was completely relieved. There's no treatment required. Never came back to us. So that is again one thing we should, very important to understand. Escaping allergens.
So now, since we have spoken a lot about कि lung health बहुत important है, you need to be as a patient or as a normal person, whether you're asthmatic, whether you're not asthmatic, ध्यान तो रखना है कि somewhere you need to know कि problem कहाँ आ सकता है. But do you think कि COVID के बाद ये जो respiratory health का concept है, do you think कि people are aware or are not aware? As a pulmonologist, what is your take on this?
Thankfully, I think yes, COVID definitely bring up this certain kind of subject to people's eyes that lungs are one of the very vital organs of the body. They were always ignored initially, and then they also realized that there are people called lung specialists who are there, who exist in the world. So it is not only heart and kidney; it is many other organs. Now, COVID, yes, it will be bad to say that it helped us get into the picture, but COVID was a bad thing for the world. I myself was heading one of the units in a hospital of COVID, and yes, COVID did tell us two important things. One, that your lungs are the most important thing to have a good, healthy life, right? Because they provide oxygen to the rest of the body, to the rest of the organs. So if your heart is not working, it's because your lung is not providing oxygen, right? And vice versa is true. And what we always tell patients now that heart and lung are like twin brothers now. If one goes bad, the second will go bad. If the lung goes bad, the heart will get affected. And if the heart gets affected for something, a lung can get affected, right? You get breathless not because you have a heart attack. Sure, it is because of a heart attack, but the breathlessness happens because the lung is affected and it
Right.
makes you breathless, right? So they are both brothers in arms, let's say, and they're both either worsening or improving. So, and number two, that improvement of your lung health is such a vital scenario today because even if you're not asthmatic, even if you're not an allergic, lung health is so important that many patients at the end now have understood that why am I so tired all the time. They've realized, or hopefully they will realize, that lung is an important part of it. Because your lung is not healthy, you're tired. And why is it not healthy? Find out, figure out. How can you improve your lung? Find out. Everybody has their own ways. So the importance of lung is hopefully will become much higher over time. There are many exercises athletes do to improve their lung condition because it improves their stamina, it improves their oxygenation capacity, for example. I always have this small thing that I tell people: get if you are very tired and bored, okay, you can also try it once you go home. If you're tired, you're at office, you're tired, you just either sleepy or tired or just not able to go. Take a very long deep breath, okay? As long as you can take, then hold your breath. Then after a second, take another breath, okay? No exhale yet. Hold your breath. And then if you still have capacity, take another breath. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Then release your breath. Do this at home. You suddenly will get this sudden jerk of energy for some time. Why that happens? That is what we call as hyperoxygenation. So it is great for some time if you need that boost a little bit. Many times that happens to many of our patients that, as you said, insomnia is a problem because stress is a problem. Then tiredness is a problem. You know, try that at home. It has nothing to do with asthma per se. It is just a general understanding of how lungs will help you give you this kick of energy by doing nothing, just breathing. If you know how to breathe properly and how to use your breath at certain instances of situations of life, you can have a much better health, not just lung wise, but in general for body. You can have much better stamina and even much better mental health because you can make yourself calm. It is, for example, I always give this example to when I explain to my students how the lung physiology works.
Okay.
If there is a tiger in front of us right now, and there are four people here,
Okay.
how will those four people react? One guy will start crying, let's say, for example. One guy will start hyperventilating or panting, for example, right? One guy will probably run away, first instance, right? And the fourth guy will maybe sweating or maybe start having body pains or even can have a heart attack,
Right.
right? Most commonly, these four scenarios will come into play. Are all four of them same people? No. Are all four of them wrong or right? No. Everybody takes their own way of dealing with a problem, right?
Right.
But can you make yourself learn how to deal with the problem?
No.
Why not? You have learned, right? If you have a problem in your studio tomorrow, you've learned how to deal with it because you've been with it before.
But it might be different with everyone, right?
Agreed. But you have a particular way of dealing. Let's say when you were 10 years back, you had a particular way of dealing with a problem. But
Right.
now you have a different way because you've gone into this learning phase where you learned how to deal with this problem, right?
Okay.
Similarly, you can learn how your body will react to a particular situation.
Okay.
It takes time. It is not going to be easy. But if you can learn how your body reacts, your body can react the way you want out of these four, or a fifth one. You can climb a tree if that is your reaction. So that learning ability is something very important. For example, this breath holding thing is one example of it. To get very small amount of energy or kick, that is a good thing to start with. So there are many such ways to learn how your breathing pattern will change as and when situations come. If your breathing pattern changes, you can think straight with your mind. If in front of the tiger, if I'm crying or panting or running away, I'm not thinking, right? But if I'm calm and I know what is the problem in front of me and my breathing patterns are normal, I can think of a logical or a better solution. That is why lung health is so important.
So you want to say that you have to train your body how
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, this is
It's-
irrelevant to asthma, but generally, if you can train your body to react to a certain situations, and the training comes with breathing patterns. How do you breathe? How do you assess a situation? And how do you breathe on it? You must have heard that saying, no? आराम से, लंबी सांस लो,
Yes.
फिर आगे बढ़ो. It is not wrong. It is हमारे पूर्वज they're not wrong. They knew breathing pattern will change your logic of life. If you are breathing आराम से calmly, you will do things properly. If you are breathing in hurry or panting, you will do things, but probably in the wrong sense.
So it was really wonderful discussing asthma and lung health with you. And obviously, our audience might, after watching this podcast, might have understood that no matter even if you're asthmatic or non-asthmatic, lung health is very important.
Absolutely.
Respiratory health, you have to work on your respiratory health. You have to work on your immunity system.
Exactly. Anyways, thank you everybody for inviting me and honoring me with this podcast.
Thank you so
Hopefully,
much.
something people will learn on this.
Definitely. So, Dr. Amit busted a lot of myths around asthma. Today, we got to know that we can live a very flawless life with asthma. Let's pledge for a better lung health.